Hi, we're at the memorial of the Battle of Moschun. That's the final decisive battle holding Kiev. And back there, behind these houses, there's a river of Irpin. And that's the only place that Russians managed to cross the river. So they had a pontoon bridge and they came through the forest. So that's the only place they managed to get across the river. If they would have taken Moshchun, they would have had access to Kiev.
Vid Irpinfloden som är några hundra meter bort, där ryssarna lyckades göra ett brohuvud över hit till denna sidan.
So the battle was from, I believe it was 5th of March 2022 to 22nd of March 2022. And here's the defensive positions that Ukrainians had. And most of this village, I think 80%, 90% was damaged or destroyed. And now people are back and rebuilding. But yeah, it was one of the hardest and most important battles in defense of Kiev. So in the beginning, when Russians came, they came from Hostomel airport side to Pucha, Hostomel. Then the Ukrainians retreated across the river, blew up the bridge so Russians couldn't advance to Kiev, and took defensive positions from here all the way to Irpin and to Hostomel, which is like 15-20 kilometers away. So that's, we can walk and then you can see. Original places, but they made them, turned it into memorial for people to visit. And but you can see, as even a lot of these trees, they're all cut down. Because all these trees were damaged from all the shelling, from artillery, from grads, from helicopters. So there was a lot of bombardment, and honestly, it looked here like First World War when you see the trench warfare.
Yes.
Trees gone. Yeah. So we're over 120, I believe, Ukrainian defenders died holding this position. And most of them a lot of them were volunteers who joined the defense. A lot of them didn't have any military experience, or some, and just came and defended Kiev.
So the volunteers were ordinary people from the Kiev area?
Yeah, a lot of people even from this same village took up arms to defend Kiev. Yeah, no, because if you look at the beginning of the war, Ukraine didn't have massive army, experienced army. I think it's the will of people to defend their freedom. It's the volunteers who defended Kiev. Without people voluntarily joining and defending their country and their city, I think we wouldn't have Ukraine.
Här kunde alltså Ukraina upphört som fri nation om inte det hade varit för frivilliga och den stora viljan att bevara sitt land och nation.
Cluster munitions by Geneva Convention is forbidden, and Russia has used, tens of thousands of cluster munitions. So what this does, the first bang comes a few hundred meters up in the sky, and then it has small clusters, and every cluster has extra ammunition, so it can cause a lot of damage. And that's what the Russians used also in Kramatorsk train station when people were evacuating, and there was tens of people who died. Forbidden ammunition, and Russia has, as you see, since early 2022 they started using, and I've seen stockpiles where there's thousands of these put together or collected. I think it can cause damage a few hundred meters, 200 meters. So it's very dangerous.
Så om en klusterbomb träffar så kan området på 200-300 meter eller mer bli fullständigt livsfarligt att vistas i.
There we go.
Ställningstavlorna här är ett exempel, en som har dött här, en ung kille. Han blev bara 23 år. Och här är en lite äldre herre då som man minns. Det är många offer för Ukraina här. Också unga kvinnor har kämpat här och dött en alldeles för tidig död. Men de räddade alltså Ukraina i den svåraste stunden. Människor kommer hit regelbundet för att minnas. Man tänder ljus oftast och en del blommor och andra arrangemang är utplacerade.
That's the city, the town hall, small. That's where they're filming.
С нами воевать, смотрите, табакет, иди сюда ко мне, иди ко мне. Смотри, какая лаечка. Привет, привет, хороший. В общем, держит с нами
Unsung
фронт,
heroes.
молодцы собаки.
Well, there was hundreds of men here, and women. Yeah, they came in small groups. They couldn't get their equipment across because there's a river between. So they tried, but the Ukrainians held them back. But as you see, it was mainly all the houses were damaged. But most of it is because of Russians from across the river. They were shelling from Graz systems and everything. So after 2 weeks of fighting here, Russians saw that it's not going to happen, and then they started retreating from everywhere and going back to Belarus and Russia. So yeah, final decisive battle of Kiev.
It's warm.